Hello everyone, and welcome to Module 4, where you will be conducting expert interview instructional screencasts and learning more about personal learning networks. I'm going to go ahead and start the presentation by clicking on the icon that looks like an upside down cake topper here in the corner, and I suggest you do the same on your presentations that you have open so that the links will actually be active. So here's some of the things we're going to be learning this module. We're going to be talking about synchronous and asynchronous screencasting, PLNs or personal learning networks. We're also talking about online or flipped learning, and then we're going to reflect on essential and discussion board questions. And then I'll make sure that you have a step-by-step guide of how to work through this module. Right. Here are your essential discussion board questions to start you off. There are 5, and I will, you can go ahead and read through them yourself. But basically, we are looking at PLNs, we're looking at online learning, and then tools for online learning, so both practical and theoretical, and then online interviews via virtual connection means. So interviewing an expert via Skype is your 5th question. So why is or could it be important to invite outside experts into your classroom via live and or recorded screencast? Here are the standards that we're covering. It's ISTE NETs for teachers. Number 3, modeling a digital work and or learning lesson or learning environment, basically. Here are some of your key vocabulary for this module: asynchronous, blended, flipped, hybrid. You've likely seen a lot of these words already, and they are kind of the new way for schools and professions to operate, and so needed to know this. NetLingo is a great website that you can get up-to-date technical-based definitions that you may not find like in a Webster's Dictionary, etc. Here's our connections. First, you're going to start out on educational online PLNs, so personal learning networks that are online and that are educational. So you likely will have or already have personal learning networks at Southeastern, maybe at your workplace, etc. These are a little different in the fact that they're virtual and they're online. They can be just as effective as in person, and sometimes they are even more effective than the ones in person because they are 24/7. Somebody's always online, always able to answer your questions, help you make meaning, discuss topics that you may not be aware of. So the power of personal learning networks that are online is that they're on 24/7, and you have access to global experts via the internet that you wouldn't, of course, normally have just in your local setting or regional. Okay, so you're going to watch this video. It's only 1 minute, 39 seconds. You'll click on the link, and it will take you straight to that video. Okay. Then after you're done watching the video, you're going to come back, and here's another video. It's Connected Educator Month. This is a little bit more about how connected educators function, and so there's a whole month dedicated to that. And of course you're connected to your schools and your regions and all of that. We're talking more about connected virtually to a broader population, regionally, nationally, internationally. It's under 5 minutes, so go ahead and watch that. When you're done, go ahead and come back. And then we have a really great leading K-12 online learning organization called INACOL, and they are at the forefront in blended and online learning, especially for K-12s. We do have higher ed consortiums as well, but this is specific to K-12, okay, which you'll likely need. So go ahead and visit that website by clicking on this link and browse around, look at the Empower Educators, look at the learning modules, create quality standards, that sort of thing, some research and resources, which is a wonderful tool. Okay, and you can also become a member in that and have a login and to where you have access to more resources. Here's an article for you, a short article out of Edutopia, which often does have good articles, so you can go ahead and click on that link and just read through it. It's about a page or two, shouldn't take you that long. And then here's some other resources for you with flippedlearning.org and flippedclassroom.org. And so there's templates, there's different videos that you can watch, webinars, books, social media, all of that that can help you really empower your flipped learning efforts for your own classroom. And no matter what school you're working in, you are likely to be doing some sort of flipped model. And that may be 100% flipped, like this class you're taking, 3313, or it could just be maybe flipped 20% of the time, where you're just putting the homework resources in a video that is posted online for the students to access. So you may not be 100% flipped online, but you will likely have some version of that. So go ahead and look at both of those resources. And then when you're done, come back. One of the other really great resources that is out there that automatically puts you into a personal learning network, or Google Personal Learning Network, is their Google certifications. And here I've posted level 1 for you. And as you see, there's 6 units here, but in total there's 12 units. The link will take you there. And here is how their lessons, their units are laid out. The content in each of these 12 units is excellent in ways to operate in an online cloud flipped environment. So I could probably spend our whole semester just having you learn this, or having you do the certification, which would very likely prepare you, almost 100% prepare you to teach, at least in a flipped learning model, if not 100% online. And also, each one of the lessons is just a really good example of how to lay out your online learning classes. So if you were designing modules for online learning like you're taking now, this is a good example of how that should look in your online format. Google Apps for Education, as I suggested earlier, is also a really robust personal learning network nationwide. They have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of Google certified educators around the world. And more school districts are going Google certification and Google Apps for Education for the whole district or the whole university. And so you are likely to at least be asked about how to use Google Apps, and you also may be very likely about how to integrate them within your school, or help your school convert to Google Apps, because more and more schools are becoming Google certified. Okay. One other thing that I wanted to make you aware of is that there are fully online charter schools, K-12 schools, and they are 100% online. This is a colleague of mine, Mr. John Pugh, and he actually created from scratch an online charter school for the Oklahoma Office of Juvenile Affairs. And this OYACS is the fully online school. And the purpose was for their students in the juvenile affairs system to not miss out on any school, so they go to school 100% online. And you may or may not teach in a fully online school like this, a charter school, but wanted you to understand that they do exist. All right, so some interviewing and podcasting, broadcasting, some digital storytelling information for you. When you're actually looking for tools to do screencasting like I'm doing now, there are several that I highly recommend, and hopefully this will help you get started. So we have TextSmith, which is a screencasting tool. It's what I'm using now, actually, and the tool I'm using is Camtasia. So the prices for these tools vary. The Camtasia is roughly about anywhere from $75 to $100. It's a one-time fee. And then you have other tools that I'll show you. And in the future that are a little bit less expensive. Okay, but here's much more about screencasting, which is published by TechSmith, which publishes Camtasia. So here is some just theoretical information about how to screencast. So you click on that link and it will give you more information on this. Basically, the hows, the whys, and the whats of screencasting. There's a little bit more about digital storytelling, and you want to be a good storyteller as well as a teacher, and often the best teachers are good storytellers. And so I wanted to give you a little bit of background in best practices for storytelling. And of course, TED Talks are some of the most powerful, short, but engaging storytelling efforts, as well as lecture tips and all of that. So this book is not very expensive, and here is the link to it. There's a lot of in the classroom teachers that are practicing that also are leaders in ed tech sector. Vicki Davis is one of them. And here's her website, Cool Cat Teacher. So she has a lot of followers. I highly recommend her to you. And so go ahead and subscribe to her feed here. And then we have digital storytelling apps for the mobile devices list. And so these are 20 tools for you to create presentations that can be the backdrop to your screencasting, like I have going now. And here's the link to those, and they're all free. Blended learning is also known as hybrid, which is different than a flipped online course, and you're going to read through these and figure out the difference. But here's some resources for you. Blended is defined as a course that 30 to 70% of the instruction is delivered online. So at least 30% of the course needs to be online for it to be considered a blended class or a hybrid class. You are currently in a 100% blended learning environment. I often teach 80-20, so 80% online and 20% face-to-face as well. Here is Will Richardson, who is a EdTech thought leader, and he's talking more about personal learning networks for you. So go ahead, watch his short video, and then come back. And here's the link for that. Here's my interview with my background. I did this video right when I first started teaching at Southeastern, and I was quite tired and needed to practice looking at the camera a lot more, but wanted you to see this. And then there's Khan Academy, which is a version of a flipped classroom. All the lessons are online. And then this is a great teaching tool for teachers to actually use in their classroom as a supplement. Maybe you have a student that needs more support in any sort of area. Khan Academy has a lot of instructional videos to really support your students wherever they may need. There's also a personal learning network that goes with Khan Academy as well. And so here's some more tools. Here are some screencasting tools for you. Here's the tool. Here is the cost for that. So many of them are free or low cost, and these are all apps for iPads. Okay. You can also Google screencast apps for Android phones or for laptops or whatever. But here is the different tools that use them, the different devices you can use from, the rating on how good they are. 5 means that they're really good. Explain everything is good. And then how easy or hard that tool may be. Okay. Here is 5 free tools for recording Google Hangouts. So say that you invited an expert into your class and they live in California, and so they're going to join you via Google Hangouts. These are 5 free tools that you can use to record that Hangout. Screencastify is another tool. If you up to 10 minutes, Screencastify is free. If you're going to want unlimited recording on all devices, it's about $20, and that's a one-time fee. So this is still a very reasonable tool to purchase, but for the purposes of this assignment, creating a screencast video, the free version should be enough. Okay, and then here's a link to Screencastify. Camtasia, again, that's what I'm using right now. You can try it free for 30 days, which will get you through this module, but I use that for all my lessons and find it helpful. Okay. Recording and explain everything is also a great tool. Here's the link for that. And it's very interactive storytelling, digital storytelling tool. Okay, so definitely check that out as well. I also wanted to give you a little bit more information about interactive whiteboard training, IWB, and here's a little bit more information in how to learn the basics of smart notebooks, working with a smart product. So here's the link to support to get you up and going with smart boards if you are in fact using a smart board interactive whiteboard. Okay. And then there are some more web conferencing screen recording tools for you. Big Blue Button, which Southeastern has, Google Hangouts, Manage Me, Any Meeting, all are useful. Here is a book. I tried to find the most up-to-date teacher-based book, K-12 classroom teacher-based book that I could, and this is what came up. It's a download for about $20, and this has 30 activities, you can see, based on using the interactive whiteboard in your class. So I wanted to give you some more practical, hands-on activities that you can actually use with your smartboard or Promethean board, whatever interactive whiteboard. And there's discussion board. So here's your discussion board or central discussion board questions again. And then for your interview that you are going to be recording and then screencasting is, and these are 8 proposed questions. Basically, you have to have a question and answer session for under 5 minutes. So if these 8 questions are too much, you can ask less questions. If you need to add more, you can. These are just suggestions to get you started that would be applicable to our class. So if you have other questions that you would like to know, feel free to add them in or supplement or exchange them out. That's fine. But I wanted to give you enough questions to get you started and get you through the 5 minutes. Please do not go over the 5 minutes in the video. I will not grade any more than 5 minutes. And so here's your step-by-step instructions on that, and I'm going to read it because to make it very clear. Number 1, watch this video and read through the presentation and take notes. Very carefully read your Module 4 rubric. Number 3, review all the samples and templates that I provided for you first. Next, number 4, you're going to select a screen recording tool like Screencastify or Camtasia. And then you're going to choose your content, so your questions. And you can refer to a lesson plan, but this lesson is really about, this module is really about doing the interview. Okay, so number 5 is really the important, you can ignore the second part of number 4. Number 5, screencast a maximum 5-minute interview utilizing slide 36 that I just showed you. So here's your questions for number 5 that you're going to screencast a maximum 5-minute interview. Number 6, when finished, you and your learning partner should assess your work based on the rubric. So go through your video, give yourself a grade on that rubric. Number 7, upon completion, share your final draft on the provided Blackboard discussion board provided, review others' work and revise yours as needed, and then turn in your final draft via the Blackboard assignment link. And that is all. Please feel free to contact me with any questions or concerns. I am very happy to help you, and I am watching the discussion boards for the helpful Q&A, and feel free to contact me. Thank you.